Have you ever wanted to start something new? Maybe like a YouTube channel, start going to the gym, learn a new hobby or skill, or maybe it's just you want to start talking to new people and make friends. But for some reason, you just can't seem to begin at all. And it isn't even because you're lazy or that you don't care. It's just that when you try to start, inside you start feeling really uncomfortable, awkward, and maybe even scared. And that's what this video is about, because this is an issue that almost all of us have faced at some point in our lives. I think one of the hardest things in life is being seen trying something new, learning, being awkward at it, failing, stumbling. And sometimes we are our own biggest roadblock, because the moment we start something new, we start criticizing ourselves. We start looking at all our flaws and being hyper aware. Oh no, my voice sounds like this, my face doesn't look that good, I don't have the necessary equipment, maybe I'll do that later once I'm more ready, once I'm feeling more confident. I lack experience, I need to build some experience and then I'll start, then I'll try. And your brain also starts asking questions like, what if people judge me, what if I fail, what if I look weird? Even recording this video felt really uncomfortable for me. I had to almost postpone it for 2 to 3 hours because I just could not get myself to press the record button. And when I did, I just kept on pausing it, deleting it, trying it again and again and again. So yeah, I get how it feels sometimes. I completely relate with you. And the worst part is, the longer we wait, the bigger this problem becomes in our head. But honestly, I think almost everyone feels this way in the beginning. Most people just hide it better. And the confident people that we see online or outside in our day-to-day life, most of them had probably really awkward beginnings too, or at least they might not have been this cool, smooth and charismatic from the get-go. The difference is not that they were fearless. They too might have felt fear at some point, but they did it despite it. They started before they felt ready. And I'm slowly realizing something important in my personal life. People are not thinking about you as much as you think that they are. Everyone is busy thinking about their own insecurities, their own problems and their own lives. So it is our responsibility to think about our life and not worry about whether they are judging us. Frankly, being a little delusional and assuming that everyone wants us to succeed is better sometimes. So maybe the goal shouldn't be to feel completely confident before starting and before making the first step. Because the real goal is to feel comfortable being imperfect for a while in the beginning. Your first video won't be perfect, your first project or painting or any coding project that you do, any sport that you will not be the best at it or even very good at it. You will be awkward, you will be clumsy. The first conversation might be really awkward, you might stutter, you might not be as charismatic as you wish that you were in your head or in your daydreams. But if you survive the awkward beginning, we can be sure, like it's a guarantee, that it will become natural and better. Confidence usually comes after action, not before. We cannot expect confidence before our first step because it's usually not viable, so we should not depend on that. Rather, if we just take a leap of faith and take the first step and be okay with being imperfect, we will slowly start to see improvements, changes, and that is when we start growing confidence in our abilities, in our capability, in our own charm and uniqueness. So we have seen some things that we can do, and mostly when we ask anyone else online or maybe in person, they just keep saying the same thing: just be confident. And that is not always very useful advice, because the advice sounds nice though, but it isn't very useful when you're feeling nervous. But there are a few actionable points that I've realized over the course of my life that have helped me quite a bit. The first thing is, break the task down. Break the task, the big task, into smaller subtasks. Because right now your brain just sees such a big thing I need to accomplish. It's going to be such an uphill battle, I don't think I can do it. And your brain assumes that it's going to be impossible, and it releases a lot of cortisol and treats it like a life or death event. But rather, if you just make it into small steps, Like for example, the thing that you're looking to start at is start a YouTube channel. So rather than thinking about how it will be after 10,000 subscribers, what are the videos that you're going to post, what if someone says something bad and they make fun of you online, rather just think about the simple steps. Like what is the YouTube channel name going to be? What kind of stuff am I going to post? And once you've decided that, just focus on clicking the record button and get your first video ready. You might not even have to post it, just get one thing ready, and then you will see that it's not impossible. It is very much possible, because sometimes we're not scared of the action itself, but rather the huge change in our identity that that action might bring. And the second actionable point that I have learned personally is that stop waiting to feel natural. We need to understand that awkwardness is not proof that you shouldn't do something. People assume that because it's awkward, it's a little bit outside my comfort zone, it's actually a sign that I shouldn't do it, that it's bad. But it's actually proof that you're doing something new. People think confidence comes first and then action comes later. But most of the time, confidence is just familiarity. Familiarity with that sport, familiarity with that specific task. And how do you feel more confident with someone? When you are familiar with them, when you keep talking with them for more days. It might be a little bit awkward on the first interaction, but on the third interaction or 2 weeks later, you won't be that awkward. You'll feel more comfortable and it will automatically be more natural. So confidence is not a prerequisite, but rather sometimes the byproduct of you willing to take that first step. And the more you do something, the less strange it feels. And honestly, one hidden reason that I personally think we avoid starting is because starting something forces us to update our identity. We are no longer the same person as before. Because before I was not a YouTube creator. I used to be anonymous, and I quite liked that because there weren't that many people to judge me or point this out. Oh, your voice is like this, your hand motions are so awkward and robotic. And I could live in that fantasy or dream that I will do this sometime later in the future. I might be good, but later I'll do that. So until that does not become a reality, until I don't actually do it in my real life, it is just something that could be in my head. And that always will sound really sweet and look really nice in your head. But when we try to bring it into reality, it will be a bit awkward and clumsy and a bit rough around the edges, and that scares people. If I upload videos, I can no longer hide behind the idea of that I could be a creator someday in the future, but rather I am right now, and that even right this very second does stress me out, because now it is real. People can actually see me try and fail and improve and all that. And sometimes, as we all know, our imagination feels really very safe compared to the reality. That is why we try to hide sometimes in entertainment and our own head. But that isn't where growth is. That isn't where the future is. So we just should not be stuck planning and dreaming, because as long as we never start, our potential stays perfect in our head. But we should bring it outside our head. So maybe the goal is not to protect the perfect image of yourself that you have up here. Maybe the goal is to become someone who is comfortable to be seen, learning and trying. So this video is kind of my way of stopping the overthinking and just starting. It's not perfect. I'm still learning. I might have made some errors here and there. My voice might not have been that good. Sometimes I fail to look directly. I keep looking somewhere else. But at least now something exists. The first step has been taken. And you can see the proof of that right now. Because the idea isn't in my head. You are able to see that idea is here. In reality, you're able to see it on your phone or laptop. And maybe there's something that you've been delaying too. If there is, then this is your sign to start badly, to start imperfectly, start awkwardly and even scared. Don't be afraid to be cringe. You need to just start. See you in the next one.